were of nothing like we've got today in quality. The forge master is the choice today. It's a grouse forge. You've got the Pro Forges and then the Ordwire Damascus things. They all cost £1. And I've even welded in the old Ordwire, I call them the old Ordwire clunkers. You know, and sometimes the gas and the atmospheric can have a big part to play on that too. Strangely enough, and there are certain gas mixes. We switched supplies at work once, and that made a big difference for welding. We wanted to change bottles, like this gas called Hetane. You've got your, well, let's just look at your gases. Propane, LPG, liquid propane gas. Okay, it's distillate of petroleum. Okay, they're all called LPG. Okay, you've got your butane, which is the old camping gas, which actually burns at a lower heat. You can get propane and butane mixes. Okay, that's probably the most common ones you'll use. Propane also. They've got different oxygen contents too. A bit weird. Hey, you know, you can complicate them issues all the way along. Hydrogen, of course, and acetylene. We all know about hottest non-flame to man is the old acetylene flame, and everybody can weld with that. I would assume it into that caper, just smudging there with a little oxyacetylene flame, all well and great. If you're doing intricate fire welding work, you can actually just hit it with the oxyacetylene flame and weld it with a hammer if you have to, if you're doing that tiny ornamental iron work, not for us today. So welding for me was a bit of a challenge, a head spin, like, got to get me around it. You can't weld in gas. My dad, because I worked with my dad with the apprenticeship, now you can't weld in gas, and eventually now with new machinery and techniques you can. Okay? Things I've learned over the years. What makes it weld? Okay, let me show you a little trick here. This is an old cart horse, draft horse trick. Get yourself an A10 or an E5 or either one. It's not just about hitting it with a hammer. Okay? Anybody could just climb up a tree and drop the hammer and eventually might hit it. That creates a force. But it's the force and the inertia you put into that that creates energy, which actually increases the heat. And I'll just try and demonstrate that. So you've got to be quick and accurate, and let's see what we can do here. Okay. You see that? What temperature does water boil at? That's quite hot now, that'll burn you. 100 degrees Celsius. Okay. So therefore, when you see people like, let's just say Grant Boone, mention it here, or some great champion, and you go, how the hell does he weld that? It's not even hot. They're actually pumping energy into that, increasing the heat by 100 degrees Celsius at least. Okay. The old draft horse boy used to say, if you can't light a cigarette off that, you're not fast enough. Alright? I think that was just a bit of a myth because we've tried it. I've never got there yet. But please try, alright? But it's a good one.
That's the problem.
You can increase the heat just by the hammer alone, and that will help you. Bear that in mind, accurate and precise. Alright? Okay, on with the show. Concave steel, the history of it. Again, I was brought up with it. We only forged using what we call road going ponies and all that, and deliveries. And it's been around for 200 years and more. There were very many different sections. There are today. You get on the internet, that Forge magazine, or what you see concave steel. It goes up in 16th of increments. That's 3 mil. Right up to what we call 25 by 12 or inch by half. Back down to the smallest section, which is your steel galloping plate material, which is your 12 by 6 or half inch by quarter. And again, the profile of it too, and this is a different profile to what we would consider the Australian section. It has an outer raised edge, which is specifically designed for actually shoemakers. So when you bend it, it all sits down nice and level. Okay. Also, the angle of the concave itself was designed to be a continuation of the concavity of the sole of the foot. Also, in racing, in Victoria, you cannot race in anything but concave aluminium shoes or concave steels. And the reason is it actually is an excellent release mechanism for the sod. Okay, if you use a lot of flat shoes or indeed make your own, you get inverted camber, and the soil and dirt will pack into there. And after us working many years ago in the UK, working in a colder climate, and you get snow on the ground, you get these big ice balls packing up into the feet, and the horse is literally rocking on the feet because it won't pop out in flat shoes. So concave has that advantage. The other thing is it still has the cover. Maybe this one will say it's a 20. It's coming to proper 3/4 of this stuff, so it's about 19 mil, which is equivalent to 3/4 of an inch. So you've still got the cover, you've still got your depth, which is 10 mil, okay, or 3/4, 3/8 an inch. And the idea with a full fuller and the reduction of that material using your concave is indeed increase the lightness. Basically, it's the same amount of cover, lightness rather than a flat shoe. That's the purpose of it. Years ago they were rolled in many different ways. There was serrations in them, snow grip, mud grip, you know, it's all there. Okay, but you still get sections today, and some of it comes in now and again. But let's see how it goes. Carbon content can have a big part to play on the weld too. Traditionally, everybody was brought up with iron back in the 1930s. All right, bit of history lesson for you. Iron, pure iron itself, takes a bit of working. It's soft and wonderful and can weld and it sticks. Okay, but iron melts at 1400 degrees Celsius. Okay, now, but iron is a pure element in itself. Steel is an iron alloy, which is basically iron and carbon mixed together in certain percentages, and very low, I must say too. So you take an old piece of mild carbon steel, it actually reduces the melting point to 1360 degrees Celsius. Alright? And strangely enough, the more carbon you add, and you get into the fancy tool steel, the melting point reduces, strange enough. And they do have a very critical working temperature if you use tool making, about how much you can do them, otherwise you can actually burn them and they fall apart on you, especially with the H13 varieties. So carbon steel, and the carbon has a big part to play in the welding. The standard Dwyer, I think they call it the Performer now, that used to be a 1025 steel, which means it has 0.25% carbon in it. Okay, whereas an ordinary, maybe this stuff might be a 1010, which is 0.10% carbon, and a little bit softer to work. But that means I've got to heat it up a bit more strings enough to weld it. Okay, so things like that have a big part to play. Combine that with my little exercise of hitting as hard as I possibly can without getting silly. Okay, be precise and accurate. We'll try and get our scarf and weld it. I'm going to start with an egg bar, and I don't mark this. I'm going to go with a weld in the toe. There's no surprises, and there's probably a good reason for that. If you want to make a nice pair of egg bars, most of this type of shoe is going to be a support shoe. Okay, so the last thing you want to do is putting that horse back on the heels. All right, so you put the weld in the toe, and you're not doing it too heavy. You smack it down and get a nice roll in it, which I'll do anyway. And you've got your bit of break on too, so it's all right to get you out of a situation there, wondering about it, what to do. Scarfing up, not too much at the start, and we'll kick on.